Lewis.
Okay, everybody, good evening in the UK. This is... Sorry, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be listening. This is Lewis Salim, GB commentator, as it turns out. Thank you for joining us for this men's Masters game between Great Britain and New Zealand. Starting lineup for the Great Britain team: number 2, Alistair Hickey; number 3, Richard Adams; number 4, Lee Beard; number 6, it's Captain Carl; number 7 is Phil Thompson; number 8, Tomek Kwiklinski; number 9, Jeffrey McCartney; number 10, Andrew Stillwell; number 11, Hayden Pitchforth; number 12, Kai Waters; and the 2 gentlemen sitting out are Vincent Perron and your screener. Their coach is Pete Hodge. So nice to see the New Zealand Masters bringing a team for the first time in a while. I've not seen them since I started hockey back in 2013 in Egger. And we've got play on the far side of the pool now. New Zealand just going down that left wall. New Zealand in the white, Great Britain in their dark blue, playing as the black team. And we've got a bit of a backline switch going on here, being taken around as we get the fresh body on the side. That's Andrew Stillwell, the number 10, who decides to cut off on the 45, using the controls to get a bit of pace. Gets it back to the middle of the pool, but New Zealand set well. We'll hope for more from that with the time and space they had. Lee Beard here, the centre, plays his underwater hockey in Manchester, gives it out to Tomek. Tomek had options, chose to go it alone, maintains possession of the puck, sees the centre coming back down, plays it back into the middle. There's a 3-on-2 here if GB can manage it right. Flick out to the right side, defended well by the New Zealand defender, and it's still in the dangerous area inside the 5 metres, but New Zealand able to clear, but we've got a foul being signalled. They've got a foul being signalled here. As we look, and this is going, it's going in favour of New Zealand, so against Great Britain. No signal for what the foul might have been, but we're going to continue. And we're underway once again as the number 11 for New Zealand, Ian Curtain, takes it straight down the middle. Stopped effortlessly by the Great Britain squad. It's placed still in the middle under possession by New Zealand. Try and see if I can cut out some of the background noise. I'm struggling. I know it's a poor audio play at home. Not had a chance to talk to anyone about it. As Tomek takes it wide left, and we're still a drive. There's a player going in behind, but good positioning. It wouldn't surprise me now if this goal doesn't stand for a stick call. There, looking on. Didn't see who it was with the drive. Yeah, giving them a stick foul there as the GB pack tried to get it back off. Off for New Zealand as well.
Just enough right here.
We're underway once again. Number 5, the team captain for New Zealand, Carl Brooks, takes it out. Bringing it off the wall slightly, trying to go down the 2-metre line as it's flicked back onto the wall there. Looks like Richard Adams there with the flick. Phil Thompson coming down to defend, but the flick inside, beautiful there by Roman Goodyear. And New Zealand pushing on to the goal. Stopped well there by Great Britain. Trying to just keep possession, being forced into the centre of his goal. He doesn't want to go there, wants to turn out, and yeah, now he gets it out wide. And Great Britain, so he's got space to swim, but unfortunately we're going to the surface here. Advantage punt to New Zealand, so the foul against Great Britain. Referee playing an advantage. Still unclear which calls have been given. We're having a referee's timeout, so this could be a bit more severe for the Great Britain squad.
So with you today, I'm Tristan from Canada, and I'll be with you, Lewis. We got a penalty here.
No, it's just an advantage puck as we cut back on the water. Just Great Britain having the man sent out, Richard Adams there. Team captain of Yorkshire Underwater Hockey. So he's going to serve his time on the side as the puck's just in the corner. Great Britain managing the timeout while going under the wall where Richard would get back in. He's still got a fair while on his clock. He's got 40 seconds. As New Zealand now try to switch it round the back, and it's cut out beautifully there. And Great Britain have an unopposed swim, and as long as there's no foul that's getting brought back for, this is going to be 1-0 Great Britain. And great to score there.
Wow.
And it should be very clear who this is. I think it might have been Tomek there with the long swim. Yeah, Tomek Kwitlinski is the game's first goal scorer. So once the puck is touched here, Richard Adams is going to get straight back in. It's going to be 6-on-6 hockey. Great Britain really turning the tides there when they were man down, and New Zealand were on the power play. As we're underway once again. Great Britain going to be first to this strike, and that's Andrew Stillwell who takes it out wide right. Going down that far wall as Richard Adams gets back in. Very tactically well done. As Great Britain break off on the 45. One player ahead, Andrew Stillwell's ahead, and to his left he had support as well. It's gone out left now. Tomek unable to bring it straight back in. Sorry, that's Kai Waters there trying to bring it straight back under him. But it's being pushed out by the New Zealand number 9, Terry Axford. And they're going to try go down. Phil Thompson there, cuts out the move. The man with the iron lung. And we've got a call being signalled here. See what the referees are saying.
New Zealand.
He's saying it was an illegal knockdown. Phil Thompson took it on his bat and lifted it up once, and I thought I was okay with what's going on, but obviously not. So we'll cut back for this New Zealand free puck. And again, the team captain Carl Brooks. So we've got two Captain Carls, Captain Carl of New Zealand and Captain Carl of Great Britain. Phil Thompson spinning it off the wall, sitting into the middle channel. But New Zealand just able to cut out the pressure. Very easily matched here so far, just a one breakaway goal, cutting out a backline switch. Tomek Kwitlinski with the goal. Is Jeffro McCarthy now gains control, and another unopposed swim. Beautiful tolerance to stay down. He flicks it over the goal to start with, but on the second attempt he gets it in the back. Looks like Hayden Pitchforth, and yes, it's number 11. It's Hayden Pitchforth playing his first international competition with the Great Britain Masters team.
I see many more people from Great Britain on the bottom of the pool, so I think they got a good teamwork, and it plays well for them.
Yeah, a lot of these team members have been established in this team for a long time. So going back to Edgar, Alistair Hickey, Richard Adams, Lee Beard, Carl Speed, Phil Thompson, and Kai Waters were all present in that squad back in Edgar 2013, where they got a bronze medal. Last time out, I think virtually all of this team except for maybe Hayden. I think Hayden was the only player that wasn't in this team when they were in Stellenbosch, and they got the silver medal, losing out in the final to Australia. And yeah, it's
again to the timeout.
Yeah, it's good that the squad's staying together and they're well established there. So we're going to get on the play. Great Britain leading 2-0. Tomek Kwitlinski and Hayden Pitchforth with the goals. New Zealand not looking bad in this game. Just Great Britain able to make the most of their opportunities, having more bodies on the bottom, as you were saying, Tristan, and just driving forward in numbers, whereas the Kiwis just seem to be going on their own a little bit.
So New Zealand takes advantage.
Hey, Jos! Come and talk. There's Vincent wants to come and talk. Do you want to come have a chat? You alright to chat with him? Yeah? Can I ask him a few questions about stuff? Sorry there, just managed to catch the attention of Vincent Perron, the men's Masters player who sat out of this game, and he's going to just push Tristan to a side for a couple of minutes for the remainder of this first half, and we're going to get his thoughts on the game. So it's nothing personal, Tristan, just an opportunity to talk about a few things going on in the competition. Good afternoon, Vincent. How are you finding this competition?
Oh, well, for GB Masters, quite tough compared to Stellenbosch. Yeah, the French are clearly more than challenging. They're pretty good, they're pretty tough. We saw it yesterday on the games. They beat us 7-0. Well, nothing to say. The whole thing is has been rise compared to Stellenbosch.
How do you think the guys in your team have adapted your game style to the 3 meters? Do you think it's going well? I know that you've had a lot of practices in Sheffield in the lead up to this, our 3 meter pool in the north of England. Is Great Britain now just taking an advantage puck? So we'll talk about his gameplay and then we'll come back to that question.
Well, thankfully we had this pool at Sheffield exactly for the depth, so that was good. But clearly this pitch is a little bit wider compared to what we're practicing. But I guess all the teams are practicing the same. It sounds like the big pushing for GB for the moment. They tried to score the third goal, but good defense from Kiwi so far.
Yeah, just aiming for that corner
yet. And then number 10. We're waiting for the validation of the referees. Yeah, referees validate the goal as the number 10.
Andrew Stillwell.
Yeah, exactly, Andrew. Good job for Andrew.
Yeah, Richard Adams had just turned the corner and got the flick away. Not a lengthy enough flick to get there, so Andrew just finishing the job for him. But I think, you know, when it's a team sport, you're just happy that the goal goes in. You're not too bothered about who claims it in these circumstances.
Yeah, indeed. We didn't know exactly what we could think about this Kiwi teams. Well, the Kiwis never bring any master team in any world, so it's the first time. So we're expecting quite a challenging one, but sounds like, well, for the moment, it's quite alright. Fingers crossed that will keep going this way. But yeah, clearly the GBR Masters now impose their game and their speed.
Yeah, they just seem to have gone from strength to strength in this game. Just, you know, that breakaway from Tomek whilst Richard was on the sides really helped the motivation.
And this another one off. Yeah, Tomek's took the puck, but Jeffro finishing. And let's see what no goal apparently, no goal for gloving against GB.
Yeah, from the camera angle there, looked like it was put in clean second time round, but it might have been gloved off the bat of the defender in the first move. So I think it was Richard Adams there. Might be Richard Adams there, just putting the final touch and getting it in. But unfortunately, the first touch and a legal one. So off we go here, and it's Captain Carl for New Zealand, and number 5 who takes it through. And then some space to swim here. One-on-one towards the goal.
No,
needs to get the flick away.
Jeffrey can keep pushing until the goal. Let's see what they say. Yeah, referees validating number 9. Jeffrey had just scored the 5th goal for GB.
Yeah, that was a lovely little bit of a swim there by Jeffro. Just to notice he was in the one-on-one and to just keep going and drive for that corner to goal, getting his flick away, but making sure that he followed on from that flick. So a lot of appreciation on the chat so far for Pete's Barmy Army.
Yeah, well, I guess we definitely need a victory today because yesterday 2 goals against the French and the Canadian. Well, French we knew that would be quite hard, but we had great expectation against Canada. I'm afraid, well, we have not been able to convert this expectation and lost 3-2, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it was an interesting Canadian team that's here in the Masters division, and it just seemed from commentating on that game, you never seemed to really find that rhythm. You got the first 2 goals, and then it was as if the Canadians just tried something different, and then they shut down the way that you guys were trying to play, and that allowed them back into the game, the penalty shot as well, and then you just saw when they got that 3rd goal, the momentum completely changed, and that gave them a bit more fuel to go out in.
Yeah, exactly, and psychologically, well, the first goal was one trigger, but the second goal in Bullet way was really psychologically hard, and it really made us really difficult to come back. And unfortunately, the score, the third goal, which was even worse.
So even with those 2 losses, it's nothing. It's still early days in this competition. There's a lot of teams still to play. You've got, just as New Zealand have a drive towards the goal. Oh, that might be considered as a grab. There's definitely been a signal on the surface. But it was an advantage signal.
Advantage scoring. And there's gloving on both sides. Wayne, the South African.
Right, so I think
we had an advantage goal first, and Alex Davio, the chief ref, come back on Christoph, and he gave the post against Kiwis.
Didn't notice there that Tomek was out on the side, so Great Britain defending with 5 in that instance. I think there's I think that was a bit of a gamesmanship thing there, but just the New Zealander just didn't get back behind the line. He treated it as an equal puck, which was quite interesting. Just went straight down. This is good from GB. As I said, it's still very early days in this competition, and I think when we talk about tough teams that are there, we've got obviously the reigning champions, Australia. They're going to be tough, but they only beat the Canadians by 1 goal earlier today.
Yeah, no, exactly. Clearly the Australians are not the same team than they were at Stellenbosch. They are a bit weaker. I would say they are not strong, but we have a good chance to beat them if we'll really pay attention, if we'll focus on our game and just playing our game and not trying to chasing the puck like they did before against us. And I expect to have a really open game and a lot of swim against the Australian, rather than have a really tough game probably like we did against Canada.
Yeah, just trying to think of other teams in that division. Obviously the South African men, they've only brought a Masters team, no elite team, so they could potentially be very tough. We had a game against them as a team of referees, so very mixed ability, and it seemed like there was, in that game we had a fair space to swim. And is it 8 teams in this division or 10?
There's 19 in total.
9 teams.
So basically the one who will finish last during the round robin will be kicked out and won't play the playoff.
So from my knowledge in previous years, the teams that finish in the bottom 2 positions, I think team 8 and 9 used to play off to see who would.
Only from 1 to 8, and because that will be 1 against 8, 2 against 7.
So previously, from my experience, it was the teams in 8th and 9th after the round robin, they would play each other again, because likely that would have been a close game, and then the winner of that would then go into that last spot, so 1-8.
I have not seen exactly what the schedule was, but if it's like this, okay, fair enough.
So although you've had those 2 early losses, there's still a very good opportunity for you to have a that progression to try and get into the semi-finals. If you finish the gap between 3rd, 4th, and 5th, it's just then figuring out who you play in future. So
we saw previously the game France against USA. Well, the French has been really struggling to score only 2 goals against USA. We know USA are a really tough game against the wall. That's the way they like to play. And basically they will try to play our own game and not playing along the wall. We have to make big swim. We have to play our game basically. Yeah, it sounds a bit of false starts maybe. Let's see what the ref say. No, maybe not.
Yeah, I refereed the American game, the USA versus Turkey in the elite division, and that team looks really interesting. They could cause some upsets. They lost 2 goals to 1 against the Turkish team. A very stop-start game as Andrew Stillwell now drives on the goal. Individually, spits it back into the centre. It's been defended well there by the lone Kiwi. So yeah, the Americans can potentially surprise a few people at this competition, and not to be taken lightly. Bernie was up in the stands watching, probably more focusing on the Americans than the Turkish for a change.
But the Americans are quite fit, and they have a lot of players well, I know they got 2 French in the elite teams, so, and most of them are there for a little while, so we know they can be physical in the game, but also really skillful and really speedy. So that's why the Masters as well doing mostly the same. At the moment, the GB Masters still lead the score 4-0. Yes. They push the Kiwis on their third.
Great charge and knockdown there by Richard Adams, the number 3 for Great Britain. New Zealand just trying to break out here, but well covered. Richard Adams once again doing the defensive work on his right wing.
But it's called against Kiwis this time. We could notice during the first half, the calls have been mostly against GB, but without any consequence. But that time it looks to be against.
Yeah, there's been some good, GB have sort of cleaned up their fouling, and it's not being a very good again. I've seen there's a couple of people been out on the side, Richard and Tomek, but it seems like it's only small fouls. Both teams are trying to play the puck, and that's good. That could get called up as a stick infringement.
Indeed.
But nope. Lee Beard there, the one they call Budgie, flicking it towards his own player's legs.
But because it was the downside flick, we cannot call a dangerous flick on that time. But, well, it left at the discretion of the referee, as you know. Oh, that's a good break from Kai, and going for the goal, but no, there was a illegal stop called before against GB, I'm afraid, so the goal is not allowed.
So, just a reminder that straight after this game, I'm pretty sure straight after this game, we've got the GB Elite Women against the Canada Elite Women, and I will be switching from Court 1 to Court 2 to be able to commentate on that game for you. Like before, I do have some official duties and kit checks to do for my last refereeing game of the day, but as I say, we'll be bringing you that commentary straight after this game.
Oh, that's a big switch now. Made by Richard.
Yeah,
vice captain given to Andrew. Andrew kept the breaking, tried to put the puck in the center.
Yeah, he's claiming he had a stick foul and he was hanging off his arm.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like the advantage was being played, and GB then still carried it on.
Actually,
got foul going against GB, so that's surprising.
Yeah, no, clearly it was the stick arrangement, but so. Rebird, okay, Budgie. I'll probably have 1 minute for that, but for the moment that's fine, no warning.
Let's just take a look. Nope, nobody going out for that one. Just going to keep playing around with these volume levels and try and figure out what sounds better for the guys at home. So I'm not trying to reduce the background noise, put the microphone close to my mouth.
And the Kiwis, but there's another break from Carl, the captains. And then on a call against GB again for obstruction.
So this is going to be a New Zealand advantage puck.
Yeah, Jeffro tried to make this flick. It's battling along the wall for the moment. Oh, good catch from Tomek, is just flicking, but there's another call.
Yeah, he's unable to get the flick through, and it's going to be advantage New Zealand here. For those of you that are watching at home and you're on the chat for the YouTube channel, if you can just tell us what the sound's doing, that'd help us for later in the game, so I can just try and get the volume levels and the best audio quality for you guys. So, as I say, if you just comment, that would help me and the team here out a lot. They have forgiven me for breaking the camera earlier, so we are trying to go. But we've got to get a break here.
Good break and good in the center for Kyle, number 12. And Alistair, like he's still there to pushing. Oh, watch out. GBR still have to break because the Kiwis make a big break now.
Well,
that's a good save.
Absolutely brilliant work by the
wall. Yeah.
Thompson.
Pass back to Andrew still.
relied on a lot of those sort of swims when he's at Manchester. Andrew looking like he's stepping with his glove there. Let's see what the referees think now. We're just going to keep it going.
One. That was one of the key of what Pete says. Make the reset along the wall.
We've got a stoppage. So no score in the second half as yet. The score's still showing us 4-0. We thought it might be 5. Trying to keep track, but oh no, did we say that 5th goal was disallowed?
It sounds like to be a gloving from the number 10, so Andrew was probably blocked the puck a bit too much with his glove along the wall.
Yeah, and I think the minute that he's been given here is because he was not making any attempt to move that glove. He just kept it there, held it as he was being hit against. Thanks Vicky for telling me that I've gone a bit quiet. As I say, we're just trying to
in 3 loops and we keep going. And for the moment we'll keep resetting. Oh no, watch out, there's nobody uncovering. Oh, good move from Carl, and we'll go back on the wall.
Kai just needed to look up there.
Keep it on the wall.
Yeah, Kai just needed
pressure. Wait for the support. That's it, guys. Keep going well.
Doing some good work. Just low effort to stay down. No foul. I don't know if he meant to go there, but
at least
lovely little cut inside. And on the outside. Oh! Look at him go. In absolutely no rush at all.
Wait for the support. Watch out. Yeah, pass here. It's a good one. Strong on the arms.
If Brazil had an underwater hockey team, that's how it would play. And I know they have Club Copacabana, and a few of those players play with Colombia.
And that's cool against GB. Well, I'm not really seeing what was going on there, but
that was a lovely bit of a move there by Budgie right in front of the cameras. If I was responsible for the highlights reel, I would have put that one on there. It would have been even better if it had gone all the way through to score, as we have a referee's timeout.
Alex Davion, the chief ref, asking for a timeout, maybe for clarification. Yeah, probably he's going to say there's a lot of gloving already called and giving a team warning probably.
Yeah, just looking over here at the New Zealand team and the way they're set up, it's I think they've come out here with 11. I was chatting with their number 4, Rob Harrison. He got into the airport in Quebec at the same time as me. We shared a flight from Newark, and he was telling me that Benson Taylor, formerly the GB elites coach for the women in the UK, he's not he's also responsible for managing and coaching the New Zealand elite men, so he's only occasionally playing in this tournament for the Masters men. And I think his loss from some of these games will be really felt by these boys, because he is still a pretty good player, not as fit as he once used to be maybe, but he's still a very good player, very technical.
Yeah, okay, clearly that would be a great input for Kiwis if they indeed will play with them.
So after the referee's timeout, it doesn't seem like we've had any change. It's just an advantage puck for the Kiwis. Great Britain will get down.
Kiwis try to make the switch along the other wall, but good chase from the GB Masters.
So if
give again and do it again, and opening, and that's a good break from Aiden. We give back to Jeffro. Jeffro to try by the center, waiting for the support. Yeah, good support from the DBs. And another one, and Hayden staying down forever.
Great effort by Hayden Pitchfork there. The oldest man in the GB teams at this World Championships, just staying down. Even though the puck went away from him, a lot of players would have gone up there, but Hayden just stays down, waits, feels the puck's going to come back to him at some point, wait until the move is over, and before it's over, sure enough, it comes back to him, does the 2 leg kicks, big flick into the goal, and there was a forward there just to finish it off in case, but that was a well-executed goal line move by the men there.
Definitely, that was really brilliant goal, really teamwork. You could see all the support stay down, And now GB leads with a fifth goal when left only 5 minutes and 45 seconds in the second half. Kiwis get the strike.
So if you were in this game now, you're winning 5-0, maybe your thoughts on what Pete Hodge would be saying to these guys. Is he saying, you know what, go on, stretch the legs, see just what you can do, see how many we can get in this game, and try and execute our moves, treat it like a training game when you're 5-0 up with 5 minutes to go? Or is he saying to you, right, stay composed, nobody's getting sent out, and we're not going to concede a goal? What's his more of his ethos?
Well, mostly I guess Pete will say to just keep the pressure on the Kiwis and try to score as much as you can, because we saw yesterday that's what happened against Canada. We are just leave the pressure and the Canadians came back. So no, clearly not. You have to keep fighting and keep the pressures on all the time. That's a World Championship. That's not just a training session. Every minute's matter. Every actions matter.
Yeah, so this second half has been more of a dominant performance by Great Britain. Yes, the New Zealanders have had some territory in the New Zealand half, but
that's a good flick behind the defence.
Great saving tackle there. Great saving tackle by the New Zealander. It's number 9, Terry Axford, with the comeback across as the offside back. As we see Richard Adams and Lee Beard both hassling number 10, Pierre Burgers. And now we have Al Hickey, who splits it back into the centre, and it's a New Zealander that recovers but not going anywhere with it. That was almost a gift as Lee Beard now tries to win the puck back. Richard Adams battling with him to try and keep it, but we've got Ian Curtin who's trying to take it down up against Al Hickey.
Yeah, indeed, you can see that Kiwis now are just one man on the ground waiting for the support, but cannot find anybody, where GBs are still there. Oh, nice move from Al. And that's another call, stick infringement against Kiwis. Good opportunity against for GB Master to have an extra goal maybe.
Yeah, 3 minutes to go, including that last 2-minute stop clock. I think Pete Hodge is going to be very happy with the performance of his team, especially the adaptations in the second half, because they have been the cleaner team. They have made the most of his possession. As Great Britain's captain Carl now takes the free puck.
Oh, that's a brilliant teamwork now. They'll keep pushing, and there's probably a goal. Let's see what the ref said.
Yeah, the referee
that's a goal.
Yeah. There's no number allocation, but just the referee's deciding that it's hit the back of the tin without it dropping into the bottom, which is good news for the Great Britain team, executing really well off that advantage puck. And that gives us another boost going forward. So just let us know. I'll be reading out all the fixtures for tomorrow's games, probably tonight. All of those fixtures are available on the Team GB Underwater Hockey Facebook page. If you haven't been on that page yet, please feel free to give it a like, as we have a timeout for the New Zealanders. They'll be trying to figure out whether they're going to push for some more goals or just try and keep out GB for the remainder. So who do you have tomorrow?
Good question, actually. I don't remember. Probably Australia and South Africa, if I'm right, but I need to double check.
So another potentially very tough day for you tomorrow.
Yeah, clearly. Well, against Australia, a good possibility to win. Against South Africa, that's going to be tough. We know they're quite pretty good. Most of them are from the elite teams from Stellenbosch, a bit like the French. Well, we know it's going to be a tough game, but if we play our game, if we play the way we are supposed to play, that should be fine. I'm confident.
Yeah, so I think the way that the schedule works out, it's been a tough start for both the elite men and the masters men, but I guess that's also quite good because, you know, especially when you finish your tough games in the middle. I mean, there's no easy games because this is the best of the best. It is a World Championships in all the divisions. So every game you've got to work hard. There's nothing given. Just like the Great Britain men yesterday. Lovely little angled swim and catch and tussle there by Richard Adams as he gets the break. Support on the inside, but he takes it all the way across to the far wall away from the Kiwi subs bin. So Yeah, I think psychologically, when you finish your games towards the middle of the competition, you've got a couple of the possibly easier targeted games towards the end. That you can have a bit more of a psychological boost going into those playoff games. That if you have a few wins in that last area of the competition, you know you've got that belief and you've got that momentum going into to play one of those games, which are then going to be really, really tight and hard fought, rather than having some of your harder games towards the end of it and then going off losing those games and then having to try and find the motivation to win again. Not that there's ever motivation lacking in this men's masters team. There's so much support and brotherhood there going across all our teams. But
definitely they have quite a lot. Yeah, yesterday clearly the mood was not the greatest after the 2 defeat, but now it's over, it's in the past. We are just looking forward for the other game. And well, today is going to be victory days, which is good. So GB was pretty close to score a 7th goal, but he has been saved by the Kiwis. And now it's the...
Yeah, just see, I heard a cry of 2 men out, but that must be from the other pool. It was Great Britain take this lead here, nice over the shoulder, trying to find that left corner. It looks like we've got it. The thumbs up from the GB boys.
And what does the referee say? Yeah, it sounds to be the puck has been into the team. Waiting for confirmation.
There's one referee coming over.
And a second, 3 of them. Yeah, that's about it. It's a goal.
Took a while, didn't understand. I thought the referee out the back might have seen something, whether it was a dangerous flick by Budgie, but he's just coming in so he could see the referees, I guess. So Great Britain are going to see this game out. Sets 7-0 unless something dramatic happens off the strike here. The Kiwis, their player will probably get back in once the puck's been touched for the last 30 seconds.
There was a goal from Richard Adams, apparently. And Kiwis win the strike.
Good to see Great Britain executing these advantage pucks really well. Obviously all the opposition being put behind the line, even when it's down 5, it's a tough task still to put it in, but you've really got to make those situations count. And against Canada, if I'm being critical, you didn't do that.
Yeah, no.
That was unlucky by Andrew Stillwell, just out-muscled there by the defender, and that's Terry Axford again, who's been doing a great job covering for the Kiwi boys there. As they try and rip it out of the corner, but we've got a stoppage with 11 seconds to go. Oh, sorry, the clock on the time is wrong, so that's time.
I mean, and that's victory for Great Britain, the first of the tournament.
Well, yeah, so good. But as I say, good that you're executing in those situations on your 6-on-5s, especially on the 5-meter line. That's where games can be won and lost. We saw the Great British women. They were unable to execute in those situations against the Colombians. I was saying that through the commentary. They were managing to do a lot better with those today against the Netherlands, and it's good to see that the coaches are targeting the areas for these players to be improving on as the competition goes on. Better to make mistakes early and develop than to crumble towards the end. So I think with the mentality training and everything that's happening in GB, it's putting us in a good position going forward.
Thanks a lot, Lewis.
Yes, thank you for joining me, Vincent. All the best for the remainder of the competition. I'm sure I'll be seeing more of you, whether you're joining me in the commentary booth or not. So coming up next is switching over to the other competition pool. We have the Great Britain Elite Women, and I will be joined by Daryl Brambalala. He's just walking over to his commentary position. So we'll see you over there in a few minutes. Thank you, bye-bye.